Super Ninja is back. So Super Ninja, for those who don't know, is Russia's newest Ninja Warrior show. They did 3 seasons of Ninja Warrior Russia, and then they rebooted, made Super Ninja, which is an entirely different original format, still Ninja licensed, still officially canon in the Ninja Warrior universe, and it's very, very interesting. Instead of just clearing an obstacle and hitting a buzzer, you have to grab rings after you clear a single obstacle. Your rings you put on the pedestals, and they're like marking your points. They're like your checkpoints in a way. Your goal, of course, is to beat the entire course, get all of the rings on all of the pedestals, and you win. Or in most cases, advance to the next round. The top 10 people from qualifiers will then race each other in the semifinals. The 5 winners of the semifinal races will go to the finals. The finals is a tougher version of the qualifier course. They swap out obstacles. They make the obstacles way, way harder. For example, they swapped out the ring chaser this season for the cliffhanger. Obviously, cliffhanger's harder. And then the top 2 clears from the finals will race on the super final, which is a tower consisting of the lumberjack climb, rock holds, you name it, crazy big tower, 1v1 race, and someone wins and is crowned the Super Ninja. That's a brief rundown on the format, so what did I think of this? I thought it was pretty dang good. When I watched season 1, I saw a lot of potential mixed in this weird mishmash of things. You know, season 1 had a lot of wacky obstacle choices. They had, the Travelator from Gladiators, which is back. They had the Bamboo Forest from Million Dollar Mile, Energy Coils from Beastmaster, the Narrow from Sasuke. Like, all this random stuff, but it oddly kind of worked. Kind of. There were definitely times in Super Ninja 1 where things weren't adding up the way they should have, but 2 did it a lot better. This season, they narrowed the focus down. They kind of got rid of the course wackiness in a way, and they became ninja obstacles. It was an actual ninja course. However, they still kept it a little weird, and they made sure that it was still unique from the other Ninja Warrior shows, so I did feel like I was watching Ninja Warrior, just an original take on it, which is very hard to do after 26 years of Ninja Warrior existing. Super Ninja feels original in a way. Needless to say, I think Super Ninja Season 2 is hands down better than Season 1. Let's talk about why. For one, the qualifier course is much better. I think it's a decent course. Of course, I wish that the qualifier course would change throughout the entirety of the season. In the first 7 episodes of qualifiers, it does not change at all. That is a bummer, but at the same time, I guess I'm kind of used to it now. There are 7 episodes of qualifiers and semifinals. It's qualifiers, and then you get your top 10, and in the last 30 minutes or so of the episode, it's the semifinals, which are races. Let's talk about why those were way better. For starters, it didn't rain this season. In season 1, it was pouring rain throughout most of the filming, and so we had a lot of people slip and fall on things that they really shouldn't have just because it was so wet and slippery on the course. Already, with the course being dry, Super Ninja 2 allows the competitors to live up to their full potential, push to their limits. You can see it. You can definitely notice the difference, and it was so much more entertaining to watch people fall on the second to last or last obstacle or get the clear versus an entire episode where people can't get past the first or second obstacle because it's wet. That sucked. Not this time though. Very happy to see actual effort and skill being displayed on this show. The other thing is they picked ninja obstacles, and ninja obstacles are generally faster than other types of obstacles. Beastmaster obstacles take a minute. Million Dollar Mile obstacles take a minute. Now we've got Broken Pipes, we've got Ring Chaser in the qualifiers. Those 2 are way faster than what was there before. Energy Coils is still back, but it's kind of nerfed, so it could also be a little bit faster. I'm glad to see that there are actual ninja elements now on the qualifier course because it's forcing different types of movements, and that's what I want to see. At the same time, I did have a slight problem with the qualifiers, and it's that the fluff pieces go on for a while. I mean, come on guys, this is still Ninja Warrior. Are we gonna pretend that there aren't fluff pieces? No. You still have athletes getting 3-minute, 2-minute profiles talking about their lives, and then they run the course, and then they have some sort of post-run interview type of thing. However, this still was manageable and watchable for me. I managed to go through this whole thing without trying to fast forward any of the fluff pieces. And I think that's because when the athletes are on the course, they are on the course. I'm going to compare it to season 1 of Super Ninja and Ninja Israel. Both of those shows, they'll do interviews, and then the course. And then the course run consists of running a super fast obstacle like domino effect. And then they rest for a minute, like a literal minute, and they don't edit that out. It's a bummer to see someone get to the buzzer in 5 minutes, and 3.5 of those minutes are them resting before obstacles. It's boring. It's not good TV. Super Ninja 2 will have someone hit the buzzer in 5 minutes, but 3.5 of those minutes are spent on the obstacles, attempting the course, trying to beat everything. That is much better than watching someone stand there for 3.5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just makes things more entertaining. They also put some fire music under the background when the athletes are attempting obstacles. It makes everything feel much more intense, and it adds to the fact that these people are fighting against the obstacles. I think it was a very good effect to add. They're not the first show to do it, but again, comparing it to like Ninja Israel, they had the background music on while someone was staring down a balance obstacle for 45 seconds and then running it for 5 seconds and then staring down the next obstacle for another minute. That's just not fun to watch. Super Ninja 2 was much more entertaining to watch. The top 10 get to the semifinals, except for when they don't. And this is where I really like it because, you know, I always prefer Ninja Warrior formats that don't guarantee a winner. You know, the idea that you have to beat all 4 stages. There could be entire seasons where nobody wins, nobody can do it. And I think that's awesome. Super Ninja basically guarantees a winner in a way, but it also doesn't. Because if you do so horrendously bad on any of the courses, there's no mercy shown. There's no participation, anything like that. You're just cut. Case in point, episode 7, the last qualifier episode. It was by far the worst qualifier episode because only 4 people made it past the first obstacle. That sucked. It was very hard to watch. 2 hours of people failing the first obstacle. It was rough. It was rough. Granted, the first obstacle is like a treadmill, long jump, Big Dipper, a couple laches, and then a crank that lowers the ring that you grab. So like it's a long obstacle, but people still failed the first obstacle for 2 hours. But only the 4 people who made it past the first obstacle went to the semifinals. And I thought that was a great idea because you're not making us watch people who suck run round after round after round because they're barely scraping by on the format. No, they didn't earn it, so they don't get to go to semifinals. I really like that. Speaking of semifinals, I'm about to say the least ninja thing I think any of you guys have ever heard. Are you ready for this? The best part of Super Ninja 2 were the Ninja vs. Ninja semifinals that allowed retries. That's right, if you fell on an obstacle in the semifinals, you would be able to go back to the obstacle that you fell on, try it again, and try and catch up to your opponent. And this is where production really cooked. Whoever designed the course designed it to where it was fast. You had speedy cliffhangers like A&W Jr. You had speedy pole graspers, speedy balance, speedy lache obstacles, and Lumberjack Climb was dry this time, so people weren't slipping and sliding on it. It was just a straight up climb. It was a fast course, but if you fell, because it was a fast course, you still had the opportunity to close the gap and make a comeback run. Personally, I found that to be pretty dang entertaining because, oh my goodness. We all remember A&W 15, where we were all complaining that if someone failed the semifinals or failed on stage 2, we would just watch the winner of that race just do a course, and it wasn't that fun because all of the stakes are gone. In Super Ninja 2, those stakes never leave because no one ever truly loses until somebody clears the course. It made for some very fun, intense, entertaining races, and it was incredibly well balanced. They also had a no mercy rule. There were 2 guys who could not get past the UFO laches for a long time. I think it was upwards of 10 minutes. It was a while. Both of those guys ended up getting DQ'd because they couldn't beat it, and neither of them made it to the finals. Again, thank you for getting people who can't do the obstacles off our screen so we don't have to watch them struggle in a future episode. And then we get to the finals, and I'm not sure if I like this finale more or less than the finale of season 1, because there's different appeals to it. The format of the finale is the same as last season. Our finalists will get to run a finals course. It's very tough. And the 2 fastest clears on that course go to the super final to race for the title of Super Ninja. However, because only 2 people out of 30 can make it to the finale, the time limit starts at 7 minutes and shrinks down based off of second place's time. So that means if second place cleared the course in 4 minutes, the new time limit is 4 minutes. So you have to beat it in that time in order to make it to the super final. Last season, that led to some very intense runs. We had a lot of clears and the time limit kept shrinking and the competitors kept having to run faster and we had full-on speed runs. I loved that. This season, the course was so difficult that only 2 people cleared. Frankly, I loved that too, but in a completely different way. I missed the intensity of season 1's finale, having to shrink the time limit and having to see people rush. That was a lot of fun. But I also loved seeing us go from a massive clear fest to an actual challenge that made it very, very difficult to clear. You know, people were struggling on the cliffhanger. People struggled on Kaleidoscope. People were struggling on the super narrow jumping spider. It was like really small. They were all cramped up. There were good obstacles on that course. It was very entertaining to watch. It felt like an actually intimidating course. So it definitely played into the fact that this is the finale. These are supposed to be the best of the best. And I think it went very well. So it was very good in a different type of way. And then the super final was a tower race. Congratulations to our champion of Super Ninja. That was a lot of fun. It was a good race. It was a good race. I don't really have much to say about the super final. It's quite frankly, literally a 5-minute. They spend 5 minutes talking about it and doing it. And then the winner's crowned, and that's it. So, I mean, that's all I can really say about it. It was good. It was a good end to the season, but it was very short, so I don't have many in-detail thoughts. You guys, overall, I would say Super Ninja 2 is worth watching. You might really like it, but if you're more on the traditional purist side of Ninja Warrior, you're probably not going to like it because it's so different. But to me, Super Ninja 2 provided something original, refreshing, fun, and intense, and I enjoyed watching it. I fell behind on this show originally because it overlapped with my wedding, so I was all in wedding mode. I missed like 2 or 3 straight episodes, and I binged 7 hours of Super Ninja without getting bored because this season was done that well, in my opinion. Those are my thoughts on Super Ninja 2. Be sure to comment what you thought or what your favorite international Ninja Warrior show is. Throw that in the comments, and of course, be sure to come back because this weekend I will be reviewing Ninja Warrior Germany Season 8. Thank you guys. I'll see you in the next one.